I think I've learned to be a very good girl. But I am unlearning and rewilding myself to be the truthful woman, the real woman who says what she believes and what she sees to be true, who speaks even when my voice shakes, but knows that it's real. There's a lot of programming around what it is to be female and woman, and the nice girl story of like you have to be good and sweet and kind and gentle and soft and all of these attributes of what we label femininity. What happens with anger, what happens with frustration, what happens with grief, what happens with these other emotions that don't fit into that box of what is expected. So it felt safer to rather keep it in. Because what happens if I let it out? What happens if the damn wall breaks? Then what? And what I realized is that in keeping everything in, I also shut down my joy and my happiness, because it shut down everything. It shut down my capacity to feel the aliveness, because I've now numbed and deadened and said, no, that part of me is not allowed. And I've put that part of me in a box and shut it away and said, that is unacceptable. It was fascinating the first time I met my anger and really just felt it. It came up in me like, it felt warm and hot and red, and it burned. It burned my throat. It felt like all those words I couldn't say and all the things that I wanted to say but never said, it burned its way out of me. And as it burned, then the grief came underneath. And the grief was for all that I had left unsaid and all that I had abandoned in myself in this pursuit of safety, that I had abandoned my most precious gift, which was who I truly am in my being, and honoring that and acknowledging that and allowing all of those parts to be seen and be felt and be allowed. We're told it's bad and it's wrong and anger needs to be controlled and we mustn't let it out and you mustn't express it. But what I realized is anger and grief and joy are not good or bad. They just are, and it's an energy, and let it move and let it be felt, but it can also be channeled. My anger can be channeled into care, it can be channeled into protection, it can be channeled into where their life needs that force, it needs that fire. And let the grief come, and let the grief bring care and compassion, and let it bring the joy of being alive. And they all have their place in a well-tended garden instead of being suppressed and hidden in a box. Being human can be the easiest and the hardest thing. To just be requires a lot of unbecoming, to work through whatever stands in our way and conditions us out of our humanness. So there's that, that journey back to who we really are. One of my core wounds was, or is, like not being good enough to make it into heaven, not being good enough to be one of God's chosen. And the story of the rapture, of chosen people being taken up into heaven and those who are not chosen get left behind. And any day now, my parents would be taken away and they were definitely the chosen ones, and I knew in myself I was not, because I felt bad. But I really wanted to be good. So outwardly really trying really hard to show and to do and to be the good girl and to try my hardest, because I was so afraid of not making it and being left alone. Something that has unfolded for me recently, I'd say in the last year or so, is that realizing that this feeling that I feel in my chest of everything caving in and this complete desolation, complete loss, is almost this fear of death itself. It's the fear of losing everything and everyone. And what then? And it felt like this helplessness and this grief, that there was nothing I could do about it, and that everyone that I loved would die. And it is so big to feel that all I can do is feel it. And that felt like this grief, the eternal grief, the overwhelming grief. And it wanted to crack me and break me. But then something shifted in me, and it felt like I want to crack, I want to break, and let the grief break me, and letting the grief break my heart. And that's what it feels like. That this shift in me has been to live like this. To live from here, to live with breaking heart. To meet life with a broken heart that is open and broken to love and to meeting and to seeing and to feeling and to connecting. And that feels like a big piece for me at the moment. From a very young age, that fear of death walked with me, and I held that fear. I didn't know what to do with it, and I didn't know where it came from, and I didn't know what it meant. So I just lived with the fear and the contraction, and the fear almost making me cling and hold on for fear of that loss. And it's been such a relief to realize that a relief and a loss, to realize there's nothing. The harder I cling, it's not going to make any difference. And to feel into what now? And what if everything is lost and gone? What now? And what can I do but live? And that has felt like a big shift for me in a sense of what is there to live for? And there's to live for this moment, and this connecting and this being, and that I get to love the humans in my life, and I get to connect. And we could lose everything tomorrow, like in this next moment, and we get to be alive, and we get to experience each other, and we get to hold each other's hands. So what now and what if? But to live and to be alive and to really live, to really feel, and to live from that place, because there are no guarantees, there are no sureties. We would really love healing to be linear and evolving to be linear. I'm like, okay, we've moved through this thing now, on to the next. But the idea of the secular nature of healing and how it's just spirals. And as we work on our patterns and our stories, they will be with us forever, I think. And I know that wound inside of me that says I'm not enough, it will live with me and it will be with me. But my relationship with it can change. Like I see it coming up even in my relationship. Not being able to express when I'm really just angry or upset, because I'm like, oh, I can't be super angry and upset because then it would be overwhelming and then they would run away. And there's that story. And when that story comes up, it's like, it's that one. And then I can be with her, that little girl who's afraid of being abandoned. And I can find a way to find safety in my being. And I'm so grateful to have a relationship that I feel safe in and that I can be held in. Something I've expressed to my partner is, can we practice? Can I practice saying what I really feel in the moment and being held in that and receiving love, receiving holding, and knowing that they're not going anywhere and that I'm loved for who I am and I can say what I feel. And in that moment, teach myself safety. And in that, form a relationship with that wound that is then one of care. And not abandonment or rejection, but bringing it in, being like, this is a piece and a part, and let me work with it. Let me journey in life with it and hold it gently and tenderly. It's so fun to reacquaint myself with the holding of the good girl. And how have I redefined that for myself? And I think at its core, there's a lot of care. And before it was caring what other people think and caring what the world thinks because I needed them to care. But I think now it's caring because I want to. It's caring because the world needs more care and because I am inspired to care. And I think being the good girl has become being the truthful woman, because it feels like the truth feels good and it feels honest and whole, and it feels like this authentic meeting of each other in reality. And I think the good girl, she's alive, she's in me, and I honor her and cherish her and hold her close. But I think that good girl who so needed that validation externally, now it's the process of how can I honor her myself? How can I listen to her? How can I meet her, honor her needs, and be in the stillness and be in that which is erupting from within? The more I am true and connect with what is alive in my heart and show up with that, that is all I can do, actually. Because all the rest will come, and I will continue to evolve and to learn and to grow and to change. But what stays constant is the communication, connection that I have with myself and my being, and how much am I home to myself. Life changes, my thoughts may change, my opinions may change, maybe the way I live will change, but can I be true? And can I show up truthfully? And can I show up with connection and care? Can I show up honestly? And I would like that to be my guiding light. That let there be compassion for the human experience, to fumble and figure it out, but at the end of the day, to care enough to show up again and again and again, every day in a new way. And perhaps we can grow like that, and perhaps we can learn to be better humans and kinder humans to each other in the showing up and forgiveness of the day past.
Thanks for watching our film. Every story we've made is possible thanks to the support of our patrons. And if you'd like to continue to support us to make stories that explore the infinite beauty of being human, sign up on Patreon. Thanks.